Imagine for a while, if one volcano will erupt. You may be frightened how it can shake or can create an earthquake to the place where you stepped in right now. Or let's just say the loud howling sound of explosion that can rupture your eardrum due to explosion. Or the dark ashes that comes out from the explosion, and cover the sky that can change the day into a horror-like darkness. And those massive stones falling down from explosion that can tear you apart or even houses, due to this burning and asteroid-like impact of those falling stones. And the worst thing, is the drastic or even slow crawling of metal melting hot lava that comes out from the mouth of volcano. What do you think? Can you survive? Good thing, the answer is, yes. We can still survive for this volcanic eruption, in a reason that we can evacuate earlier or go to safe place before the explosion. Another is that, due to technological advancement, we can now predict volcanic activity and its eruption. We can prepare earlier and we can make necessary moves to survive. Now, we go to the worst scenario that of volcanoes can be possibly done. The simultaneous eruption. Yes. The simultaneous eruption or the eruption of all volcano of the world at once. So weird to hear that? Right? Try now to imagine again if 1,500 of these volcanoes erupt at once or simultaneously. This is the number of all active volcanoes does the Earth have, plus an unknown number hidden under the ocean. Let's try to consider all the possibilities or outcome that could happen if all volcanoes in the world will erupt at once. The effects would trigger an environmental domino chain effect, many times more powerful than a nuclear explosion. Let's try to consider all the possibilities or outcome that will happen. 1. Collapse almost all human infrastructures. From building, bridges and houses will collapse and some will be tear into pieces. Explosive eruptions would churn out wall of rocks, ash and gas, wiping out the nearby areas. You wouldn't be able to outdrive that giant hot cloud and rocks as hot as 1000 degrees Celsius that would be traveling faster than as 700 km per hour, and hit those infrastructures. Surely it will tear apart those infrastructure into pieces. And those thick ashes could land on the roof of all houses and could collapse an entire house. As well as buildings and other kind of infrastructures. 2. Pitch black or plunge into darkness. The thick layer of ash from the eruption would totally blanket the entire Earth. That will block completely the incoming sunlight. The planet would be pitched into complete darkness, and that is going to devastate photosynthesis, destroy crop yields and cause temperatures to plunge. Most plants depends on photosynthesis for food to grow, and as well as human and animals depend on plant for food. A massive food shortage also comes quickly after this scenario. The ash would linger in the sky or clouds for a decade, let's just say for about 10 years. Yet, not every volcano on Earth is primed to pump out large amounts of ash. Some, like Hawaii's volcanoes, usually put out gentle lava flows. But the list of 1,500 potential active volcanoes, compiled by the U.S. Geological Survey, includes whoppers like the Yellowstone supervolcano, which could cover almost entire United States in a thin layer of ash. So in general, if all this 1,000 volcano will erupt at once, the whole globe will be blanket with a thick ash. 3. Suffocation and contamination of all living creatures. All living creatures, mostly or almost 100% depend on oxygen we breathe. Volcanic eruption emit volcanic gases such as hydrochloric acid, hydrogen fluoride, hydrogen sulfide and sulfur dioxide, which can possibly mix with the air or oxygen we breathe, and can cause suffocation for all breathing creatures. It can become acid rain also, when they condense high in the atmosphere. That acid rain would contaminate groundwater and the ocean's surface. Ocean acidification would kill off corals, and marine creatures with hard shells. The extinctions would travel up the ocean food chain, wiping out fish and other marine life. 4. Creation of a monster waves. The eruption of all volcano under the ocean can greatly contribute in creating unimaginable tsunamis or gigantic waves from the ocean that can wipe out all thing nearby oceans. Buildings and houses will be wiped out and destroyed due to the vast impact of waves. Cities and town near ocean will be submerged in water. 5. Melting heat and sub-zero temperature or biting cold. Just after or at the moment of all the 1,000 volcanoes are erupt, ashes could cover the Earth's surface and trapping all the heat from the eruption of lava that reaches as hot as about 1,000 degrees Celsius. This could be possibly create a greenhouse effect of melting heat. And those not resistant to heat, things or a living creatures could melt, or go to its extinction. At the moment the eruption is done. The blanket of ash in the clouds will bounce back the sunlight, and the penetration of light or warming effect of sunlight is nothing. Due to absence of the sunlight, which is the main source warmth of the Earth, sub-zero temperature will comes next, biting cold will experience, and that could possibly last for how many years? For instance, the eruption of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines in 1991 is one of the two largest eruptions in the 20th century. It cooled some parts of the world by up to 0.7 degrees Fahrenheit or 0.4 degrees Celsius for 2 years. But imagine that is only a single volcano, just a little portion of the 1,000 active volcano existing on Earth's surface. Stop for that matter. Let's turn out the table on how we can survive with this catastrophe of simultaneous volcanic eruption. We know that it is almost impossible with this catastrophe for human to survive. But at least, there may be a portion that we can do to survive from this apocalyptic disaster. The sci-fi strategy is also a possible way. 1. A few humans can live on in the orbit of the Earth. 2. In a deep underground bunkers built by well-financed governments, or rich moguls, waiting for the atmosphere to clear. 3. You can stay in a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean. And if you are lucky to be on that place, please don't forget to have enough food to survive. Luckily, it's a relief to think that such a scenario is very unlikely to happen. Scientists says that the chance of every volcano on the planet erupting at once is so small that it is so impossible. At least there is no evidence of all volcanoes erupting at once in the 4 billion year history of Earth. But is it better to be prepared for everything? The big question is that. But what if it will happen? Would you survive? Or, would the Earth as it we know will survive? That's all for today's video. If learned something, share us your thought at the comment section, hit the like button below, or you can share this video to your friends. And if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to click the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell to update on our next upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching. And see you on our next video.